Oh boy. Here we go. Okay, so time now is 1:13 a.m. on February 9th, but if you're watching this, you're probably thinking that's kind of weird because this is supposed to be a video about January 5th and 6th. Well, guess what? I'm supposed to be editing the Thoughts Update video for January 5th and 6th today. I edited it, I exported the video, and I uploaded, and halfway through uploading, I deleted the video. I deleted all the videos, in fact. I deleted the edited video and then I deleted all the source videos because I was just so desperate to clear storage space. So once again, I have completely wiped out all my vlogs on January 5th and 6th, which means that I'm going to somehow right now recall everything that I've just said and pretend that I'm in the mood at that time. So anyways, on January 5th, I didn't leave my apartment at all. I was in Hong Kong. So pretend this is not LA. I'm in Hong Kong now. My hair is short. I just shaved. I'm clean. And in the morning, I had breakfast, and then during breakfast, out of curiosity, I DM'd Potter on Instagram, asking him, what's up with Pepper? It's been a while since Pepper has responded to me on WhatsApp. I don't know what's going on. I had to find an excuse. I DM Potter to ask him how's Pepper doing. I haven't heard from her for a while. And then Potter told me that apparently he and Pepper went to Koreatown a couple days ago, which is literally Monday. By the time I'm recording this right now, let's pretend it's Wednesday. Let's pretend it's Thursday in Hong Kong, Thursday morning, which is Wednesday night in Hong Kong, in LA. So on Monday, Potter and Pepper went to Koreatown to have a haircut together because both of them wants to have a haircut. Potter wants to have a haircut because it's been a while since he had cut his hair, and Pepper just, I guess, wants to follow. I don't know who asked who out. Did Potter ask Pepper out to have a haircut together, or the other way around? I don't know. But that's that. So anyways, they went to Koreatown to have a haircut. Turns out the barber shop is closed. So they were gonna go home. And then Pepper said she wants to go to a cafe, but Potter said usually when people go to cafe, they bring a laptop or something, and it was raining on that day, and Potter didn't bring a laptop with him or anything, so Pepper decided to go to a cafe by herself, and Potter just went back home. So yeah, what the fuck? Pepper actually is available the whole time, 2 days ago, and she didn't respond to me at all. Again, by 2 days ago, I mean January, But let's pretend right now it's January. And so the moment, so I told Potter this, and Potter this, and Potter said, oh, well, maybe Pepper's just busy with her applications. And then I said, yeah, that's true. But I don't think she is that busy. I think it's something else. She's probably fine with her applications. And then Potter said, well, maybe Or I think I said, well, maybe she's just sad. And Potter's like, yeah, that's true. I don't know if it's because of me on that day, because I wasn't in a talkative mood on the day we went to Koreatown, but Pepper didn't speak much to me. Maybe something was on her mind. That's true. So I finished breakfast slash lunch and I was gonna return to my room. And then the moment I stood up, Pepper finally responded to me on WhatsApp, saying one word, no, N-O, with a laughing crying emoji. Of course, that is a response to a question I asked her a couple weeks earlier. I asked her if I could read her personal statement because I wanted to help her out, correct her, correct some of the stuff she writes because she's not good at English. She's not that great. So, I thought it would be great if I could help her out. And she just said no. Not even a hi, not even a sorry, I was busy, I forgot to read your message. No, just N-O. And I didn't even want to fucking respond to her. A little bit later, I had, I think, almost an hour of a Instagram call, FaceTime call with Potter, and we talked a lot about Pepper, but also just relationships in general. And again, I don't know what's going on with Pepper, but after I told Potter that Pepper simply responded with no, Potter's like, well, then just don't talk to her. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cut off my relationship with Pepper, just like this. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut off my relationship with Pepper just like this. And then I and Potter talked about just relationships and how I told Potter I was honest about it. You know what? Maybe I really don't feel anything for Pepper. Potter said if I had to DM him to ask if Pepper's doing okay, maybe I do have feelings for Pepper. But then actually, I don't think I do have feelings for Pepper. Because Pepper just disappoints me. The more I know Pepper, the more I learn about Pepper, the more disappointing and the more uninteresting she gets, unfortunately. She's just very basic. And then Potter laughed, and he said, wow, I actually do kind of feel the same too. There have been so many moments where I just feel underwhelmed by Pepper. Like, damn, that's such a Hong Kong girl thing that you just said. Um, and I raised an example, when I and Pepper and Potter took weed together. Pepper just fell asleep. And I get it, she's sleepy on that day, I know, but still, it's my first time I thought we would do something together. We would chat or something. And Potter said, that's true. That's kind of how he felt. It's funny because when JT tried weed the second or maybe the third time, and Potter was there, so the both of them took it at the same time for the first time. JT fell asleep, and Potter was kind of angry actually because way back when, Potter was in his city U days when he was still a student in Hong Kong. Weed is illegal in Hong Kong, so every time he got his hands on some weed, he and his friends will gather together in a group and take the weed together and fully experience it, fully enjoy every single moment of it. But in LA, it's so common that people don't treasure it. So when Potter saw that JT just fell asleep after taking the weed with him, he was quite mad. But yeah, Potter totally understands what I'm saying. But Potter has a totally different idea in mind. Potter said that in the future, he really wants a girlfriend or at least some sort of girl that he can rely on. And it's going to be a basic ass bitch, a dumb blonde, basically, a basic bitch. And Potter was even excited. Potter said, "Man, I'm so excited now that I'm talking about this." Potter wants to find himself a really, really basic person. He even imitated, like, "Oh, where are you from? Oh, from Hong Kong?" And we all laughed. And he hopes that he could find one in our photography class. And I said, a basic bitch who takes photography, it's a little rare. And then Potter's like, "Oh no, there are definitely basic girls, basic women taking photography classes." At the end, Potter said that every single person he's met also follows the same trajectory, and that is they always start out interesting and then they lose their interest, and then at the end they're not interesting. Everyone's like that. And then I said, I really want to meet someone interesting though. And I said, I feel like I'm almost becoming the person I want to seek because I am acting interesting. You know, I want to dress weird. I want to look weird. Like I want to put makeup on me. I want to act like a character out of a TV show. And slowly I have become that edgy, interesting person that I actually want to be. And Potter finds what I've just said very, very interesting and insightful. Like, oh yeah, that's such an anime cliche, and then he makes a Hunter x Hunter reference, and then he makes a Naruto reference at some point. Oh yeah, he makes a Hunter x Hunter reference first, saying that yeah, it's sort of like that. You know, you become the person you seek, which is really interesting. And then he said maybe the kind of girl I like is the kind of girl who constantly changes, like how in Naruto, one of the elements is change, but I haven't seen Naruto, so I don't know. But yeah, it's like changing element, you know, where you constantly change and you're unpredictable. So yeah, it was a good chat, but it also left me pretty sad for the rest of the day on January 5th. I was pretty bummed out. I think I filmed about 50 minutes worth of vlog where I basically went over all the great times I've had with Pepper. You know, we've shared a lot of great memories together. You know, all the way from going to Whittier together, adventuring and exploring the town, being really cold together on a very cold morning in Castaic, working for the feature film, you know, all the HKOS shit. And then my favorite moment with Pepper has got to be the time I was in her apartment and it's just the both of us and we did nothing but we ate boiled eggs together. It was so much fun and it just doesn't seem real, and I just don't understand why Pepper would decide to hate me now. Or maybe Pepper doesn't hate me. Pepper just maybe finds me annoying. Maybe she just doesn't want to talk to me. But it's okay. I can get over it because I don't love her. I love Mary, and I couldn't get over Mary even half a year later, even half a year since I've last spoken to her. But Pepper, I'm sure 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, a week later, 2 weeks, a month later, I'm just gonna forget about her and let her go because I don't have feelings for her. Period. Simple as that. But even so, I don't understand. It's just why, you know? It's really frustrating. Um yeah, but it's awkward too because our lives are so intertwined with us taking photography classes together and film classes together in the next semester and also the HKOS stuff. I don't know how the future is going to be. I mean, damn. There's the Demon Slayer candy. Can you see it? I even plan to give that to Pepper. What a, what am I going to do with that candy now? Am I still going to give it to her? Probably. I don't know. Yeah. And then I think that's basically January 5th. Yeah, and Pepper isn't just ignoring me because she's busy or anything. Like, she's purposefully ignoring my Instagram stories. She's on Instagram, she's online, but she's not watching my Instagram stories, meaning that she's purposefully ignoring me. So, yeah, I guess she hates me now, but then again, it doesn't really matter. I mean, at some point, half a year later, we're all going to be scattered. We're all going to part ways all over again, and it's going to mean nothing to me. So, you know what? It is what it is. I feel sad now. I feel bummed out. It's totally fine. But you know what? In about a month, it's going to be all right. So, yeah, that's basically January 5th. January 6th. In the morning, I'm still bummed out from yesterday. I don't know how to feel, but I know this feeling is gonna pass. I'm just, I need to find someone more interesting, and I know I will. I mean, at the end of round one, I didn't have any confidence that I would find someone interesting, but I know I will find someone interesting. Alright, so later I'm going to be meeting with Natalie and Taiku. This is going to be a very interesting meetup, and I'm going to be seeing Miss Solomon, so that's gonna be crazy. So I arrived at Taiku City Plaza at I think it was 10 a.m. I was really early. Yeah, 10 a.m. But then Natalie was WhatsApp me saying, and I was late by a couple minutes. But Natalie, thank God, Natalie's even later than me. Natalie WhatsApp me saying, "Fuck, I overslept. My alarm just rang. Give me 20 minutes." So I literally stood there for like half an hour until Natalie shows up. And Natalie showed up in something that looks like a basketball outfit, kind of cozy, not the usual librarian, maybe a little gothic feel that I would feel from Natalie. But anyways, it wasn't awkward when we first met, but it's definitely an interesting feeling. So I originally planned to go to a Taiwanese restaurant, but we're having brunch with Miss Solomon, and Miss Solomon wants to go to that Chinese restaurant, to Yamcha. So we went to that spot, and then we waited at that spot for another half an hour. We just stood there, and it was really suspenseful. We waited for the restaurant to open up the gates, and then we got our tickets, because in this Yamcha restaurant, you need to say how many seats you want to reserve, and then get a ticket, and then go to that seat. But we waited outside the restaurant for like half an hour until Miss Solomon showed up, and then Miss Solomon finally showed up, and I immediately recognized it's her. But wow, there we go. She's the fat, short woman, but this time she has this really weird haircut, black hair, sort of all down, and then with bangs here, sort of like an artist haircut. And she's almost like avoiding me in the beginning, like she's not really speaking to me. She only said hi to Natalie, and I was like, hi. I was really friendly about it. And then we sat down. The woman who gave us the ticket at the restaurant was really fucking pissed and yelled at us. But Miss Solomon was like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. So we sat down, we ordered, we got century egg lean pork congee, we got fried ham, so you got some ha gao, and a bunch of other stuff, a vegetable, because I needed some vegetables. That was my idea, vegetables and mushroom, and that's pretty much it. And the food was surprisingly good, and we also had tea. I think it was tea gunyam, because it's the more mature type. But yeah, right off the bat, I and Miss Solomon, we talked, and it was a lot of fun. 80% of the conversation was just us talking about other people that we used to know back in 1C and 2C. People like Keith, people like Bernice, people like, I don't know, just literally everyone. Rick, whom I haven't spoken about in this channel at all, but he is this weird little guy who does kung fu and chases after me and Cedric in Form 1. Apparently he's studying history, Chinese history in Taiwan right now. I didn't even know that. And Keith and Max came back a little while ago, and apparently Keith wants to open a coffee shop. And to think that this is the same Keith as the devilish, demonic, horrifying little sociopath, delinquent as well, and not even from that far back, like just a year ago or something. Keith was inked, pierced, fucking minors, beating people up in Canada. So, it's just weird that Keith is acting all, haha, I'm mature now. But yeah, that's that. And then another part of the conversation is me telling Miss Solomon that that I am studying film, and Miss Solomon was like, "Oh yeah, there's this girl from our secondary school, and her boyfriend is also studying film." And then she showed me a photo, and then she said she also taught film for a while in another school, like an introductory course, so she knows a bit as well. And then I talked about the films that I'm into, and also art in general. I showed her my self-portrait. So there were a few talking points that I have to hit. I hit pretty much all of them. At some point, I told Miss Solomon Miss Solomon asked me, "What inspires you the most?" And I said, personal experiences. And then when I said that, Natalie looked at me and smiled because she knows I'm going to talk about conspiracies. And that's exactly what I did. I told Miss Solomon that I have conspiracies and a short film idea slash TV show idea that is based on my secondary school life. And Miss Solomon loved it. She was like, "I gotta see it when you make it." And that's really cool. And then she even said, I told her how much I rewrote it, and she said, "Rewriting is important, but remember to keep it to your original idea, because maybe in the original, I am an evil, strict, horrifying teacher, and it should probably be kept that way." So, anyways, another thing is, Natalie talked about how she watched Avatar, the new Avatar 2, which just came out very recently because it's January right now. And Natalie said the writing sucks. And then Miss Solomon mentioned it again. Miss Solomon said, "Oh, have you watched Avatar?" And I said, "No." And Miss Solomon said, "If you watch Avatar, yeah, you'll be impressed by the visuals and everything, but you don't feel like you're actually in it. But then, if you watch To My 19-Year-Old Self, there's a movie lately called To My 19-Year-Old Self. It's really good. You feel like you're in it." And then I said this movie is actually really high on my watch list, and that's a movie that I'm planning to do. That's one of the top things I'm planning to do when I come back to Hong Kong, and that is to watch movies. And then there are a bunch of other movies like The Narrow Road and The Sparring Partner, which are movies that I really want to watch as well. So yeah, I and Miss Solomon said goodbye, and it was a really pleasant meal. Yeah, and Miss Solomon paid. I was gonna pay, but Miss Solomon paid, and it was only $190 something. So for 3 people, this is actually really, really worth it. Or I think $210-ish. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's $210-ish. 200 and something, which is still really, really worth it. So anyways, I and Natalie, we continue to go. So at that point, we don't know where to go. I asked Natalie, "So where do you want to go now?" And Natalie doesn't really know. So the original plan is that I and Natalie and Miss Solomon will have dinner together. And then before dinner, Natalie and Olivia will hang out. But now the situation is different because I and Natalie and Miss Solomon have a brunch together. So we're having brunch. And then a little bit later, Natalie will meet Natalie will meet Olivia for dinner. So at that point, we have a few hours to kill. So I went to the CD warehouse to look for Blu-rays, and I and Natalie, we just went over a lot of Blu-rays and DVDs, and we couldn't find the Wong Kar-wai stuff, but at least we got to look at some movies. We even went to the vinyls. The Weekend, they misspelled The Weekend with an E in it, and Natalie took out a whole chunk of Weekend CDs, and I took out a whole chunk of Radiohead. I was looking for Radiohead. There's My Chemical Romance, and yeah, that's basically it. And then afterwards, Natalie went to Fortress because she wants to buy a headset and laptop. So we looked at those things. Natalie said her phone, the quality of the photos on her phone are kind of bad. And then afterwards, we went to Esleet bookstore and we walked up and down for a while. It's funny because a few days ago, I and Pink also went to Esleet bookstore, but in Causeway Bay. Nowadays, when we hang out, we just go to bookstores, I guess. But yeah, I and Natalie went to the bookstore and we looked at books, and I wasn't really interested in a lot of them, but at that point, Natalie recommended Sapiens to me. Oh, but at that point, I gave Natalie one of my souvenirs, and that is a Family Mart sock. There's a white one, there's a black one. She chose the black one, of course. And then she said she could buy me something because she has a coupon to spend. So I said I was hesitant on it, but you know what? If she wants to buy me something, sure, right? Because I gave her a sock, you know. So there's this book that when I and Pink went to the Esleet bookstore in Causeway Bay, I really wanted to buy, but I didn't buy because it's expensive, and it's History of Hong Kong. So I went to a bookshelf there in the Kaiku Esleet bookstore, and I found a similar book. It's not the same, it's similar, but I still want it. So Natalie's like, fine. And then previously, a few minutes ago, Natalie and I were at the English section, and she found a bunch of tiny mini books about things like existentialism and whatever politics, and she's like interested in it, so she bought a bunch. So she actually bought a book for me, $88. I have it right now. It's dark green, as you can see. So yeah, that's really cool. And then afterwards, we went back to Fortress again, I think. And then we just went to a place to just get a drink. We went to a little tea shop inside the Esleet bookstore. I was lining up to buy, and there were so many options, I just didn't know what to buy. So when I was right before the cashier, the woman who took my order, I just randomly picked a random tea, and I ended up with matcha orange juice matcha, orange juice green tea, which turns out to taste fine actually. And then Natalie got something like a mango tea or something like that. But anyways, we sat down at a table at the very corner, and this is our chance to actually talk to each other for real. Actually, a lot of our talk is just small talk, and it felt really nice, especially with someone like Natalie. And this is when I realized that a great counter argument against what Potter said yesterday, that people just become less and less interesting, and until they do not, is that someone like Natalie exists. But Natalie's existence is such a rare thing. Natalie is a 1 out of 1 million people because Natalie remains interesting. So we talked about our uni lives a little bit. Of course, I mentioned that I tried vaping and tried weed in front of her, and she asked me, she wasn't that shocked or anything. She just asked me if I'm peer pressured into it. She asked me what happened after I took weed, and I told her to guess, and she said, "You freaked out and went insane." And I said, "No, nothing happened to me." I even told Natalie, like, guess what happened to me based on my character. But yeah, I and Natalie, we really didn't talk a lot. Apparently, both of us also have acne issues because I have acne issues, as you can tell. And Natalie's having acne issues too. Apparently, it's a lot more common. Actually, this acne issue is raised after Olivia has arrived. But I and Natalie just talked a lot, and it was really nice. And we talked about people. We talked about Jordana and Anne, and how different people are nowadays. Apparently Idris stalks me on Twitter because Idris follows me on Twitter. And at some point, I painted Natalie, like I drew Natalie on a piece of paper, and then Idris saw that and told Natalie, and Natalie's fine with it. And that's really cool. Natalie's the only type of person whom I don't get awkward, even if shit like this happens. I told Natalie that I didn't tell her completely about Pepper, but I hinted about it, and I told Natalie that, um, you know, I am into girls who are complicated, who is mentally a little fucked up, and it's your fault. And again, Natalie wasn't shocked to that statement. Like, Natalie sort of agrees to it, in fact. Like, yeah, I made you like this. And Natalie said that she might be on the spectrum, like she might be a little autistic, and then I told Natalie that I might be a little autistic as well. But yeah, it was all in good fun. And then at some point, Natalie went to the bathroom and then came back. I went to the bathroom and came back. And, you know, Olivia showed up out of nowhere. The last time I saw Olivia was December of 2021. So it's been a while, you know. It's been over a year. And Olivia, I still recognize her, but she acts really different. Instead of staring into the space like a blank, Olivia's just confused all the time, like back then. But Olivia now is a lot more jolly and excited and uplifting. Apparently, Olivia and Kingsley went to South Korea together, and then Olivia took Natalie's right arm and flung it up and down very excitedly and gave Natalie some souvenir. And I and Olivia talked a little bit, but of course we didn't have much to say. I mentioned that I'm doing my uni app stuff, my UCLA stuff, and Olivia asked, "Oh, what do you have to write?" You know. And then that's pretty much it. And then outside of that place, we still hung out and talked for a little while, maybe 10 minutes, and then I just left. And then it wasn't even awkward. Natalie and Olivia were like, "Okay, we gotta go now," and I know I gotta leave them. I'm not just gonna stick along, right? So I'm like, well, I guess I'm just gonna go home. And Natalie's like, all right, I'll see you next time. Before you leave. And I'm like, all right. So I left, and it was very wholesome and pleasant and lovely, and I enjoyed it. And I'm glad I'm friends with Natalie. I feel like that's the highest level you can take with Natalie. Like, yeah, sure, romantic relationships, but this is actually the real highest level you can take with Natalie, and that's just being really good friends with her. So that's what happened, and that's really nice. Came back home. I'm having ambivalent feelings because on one side I'm sad about Pepper, but then I'm also happy with Natalie. But then again, I'm sure I'll find someone interesting. Natalie is testament that I can find someone even more interesting than Pepper. It shouldn't be that difficult. Honestly, it shouldn't be that difficult. Pepper's just really basic, and it shouldn't be that difficult. So yeah, I don't have much else to do today. More uni app stuff. Maybe work on my short film. And that's pretty much it. Don't know what's going on with the flooding of my apartment. Hopefully it's fine. My apartment in LA, of course. Not here, which is Hong Kong, by the way. And at night, I finally got a response from the Film 2 professor. Holy shit, I thought he wouldn't respond. And he was really nice and professional about it, so I asked him if he could possibly, maybe, perhaps, hypothetically, write me a letter recommendation. And I asked this the nicest way possible. And he said, there isn't a rule, but it's basically an unspoken rule that you have to take 2 classes of the same professor to have a letter of rec written for you. It's unspoken, but you know, he truly believes in this. But he said, if I really, really can't find someone to write a letter of recommendation, he's open to discuss it with me. So that's very interesting. I don't know what it means, but that's very interesting. So yeah, that's really crazy. And then at night, randomly, I received an email saying someone dropped out of Film 33. I immediately joined in Film 33, and holy shit, I actually did it. So yeah, today is a fantastic day, really, really fantastic. Yeah, about Pepper again. I don't know what's going on with her. I hope she's all right. I respect her and all that. I hope she's having a happy life, but I guess all things come to an end. You know, all relationships expire, and I'm grateful for everything that happened between us in round two. Because at the end of round one, I really expected that it's already over. But I got one more round with Pepper from September to December. I had a lot of fun with Pepper, and I guess time's up, and I just have to accept it and move on, and I'm sure I'll find someone more interesting. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. January 6th. Also want to note how Natalie remains violent, because even though Natalie's all normal now and practical now, she said that if it weren't for the law, she would probably be a serial killer. She would go around the streets and kill people, and she might be half joking, but knowing her, I know she's also serious about it, and that's what I really love about her, is that she's really a serial killer. She's got a killer's mind, and that's fucking cool. And yeah, she talked about how communism would work in theory, but practically it sucks, and how she thinks that nations should start being authoritarian in some way, but then slowly work towards democracy. Oh yeah, she talked about AJ and how cooperative he is, and how much he's changed, and she also talked about how much Zara had changed, and how Zara has unleashed sort of a very naughty side of her. And then Natalie said she thinks I am a logical progression of me. Like, yes, I've changed, probably. She didn't say that, but she said she knew that I'm going to end up like this. Like, she could see it coming. But then again, it's only the first day she sees me, you know. Like, it's been a long time she had seen me, and she basically doesn't know me anymore. I'm a stranger to her, and she's a stranger to me in a lot of ways, which is kind of sad, but it's the truth. So yeah, even if I've drastically changed, Natalie wouldn't be able to tell within one day. So yeah. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy fuck. Holy shit. Okay.